Champions of the Future Round 2 from Portimao kick-started on Thursday with time qualifying, and Joe Turney putting it on the top spot ahead of all of the qualifying heats.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely some big hitters in that group. So, yeah, definitely happy to come away with the pole. So it's not usually my position after the quali, but yeah, we'll see how the races go.
However, going into those qualifying heats, you would see several different race winners. Chiara Battig took the honours from Louis Cochet. Joe Turney did take 2 on the first day of racing, with Filippo, Sala and Luda Flusha rounding out the day on top. Going on to Friday, the first race of the day would head to Iacopo Martinese. Dean Pedersen and Thomas Pradier would also start the day well, going on to Friday from Iacopo Martinese, taking his 2 wins heading into Saturday's finals. Joe Turney, Chiara Battig, Luis Francis and Marco Gast also took the honours on the second day of racing on Friday, going into those finals on Saturday. It would be Joe Turney leading the way after taking those 3 wins ahead of Iacopo Martinese's 2 wins, Luis Francis with 1 from Marco Gast and Louis Cochet would round out the top 5 going into Saturday's superheats and finals.
Yeah, so far so good. A little issue in the heat before, but no, back to winning ways now, so pace looks pretty good.
After a very tense day of racing over the qualifying heats, the day was set for the superheats for the senior OK category on Saturday for the Champions of the Future Round 2. Daniel Kelleher and Louis Cochet would finish 1-2 in the first of those superheats. Joe Turney had a fabulously close one with those fresh tyres, but would drop down to 3rd place from Luis Francis and Alpac Soy. Qualifying and Superheat 2 would be Thibaut Ramaekers getting a great race in this one, gaining those 5 places to finish ahead of Iacopo Martinese, Aston Sharp, Dean Pedersen and Kenzo Craigie, who would round out the top 5. But going into the finals, it would be Joe Turney and Iacopo Martinese, who at the end of it would be joint on points, so it fell to qualifying times, starting ahead of Louis Cochet and Daniel Kelleher. Luis Francis and Thibaut Ramaekers would round out the top 3 rows ahead of their final for Round 2 in Portimao. Are we going racing then? Last time this weekend, yes we are. And it's even Stevens from the front 2 rows, because look at this. Martinese and Turney absolutely wheel to wheel down and towards turn number 1. But Martinese has to relinquish that spot. But amazingly, he holds on to 2nd place. That's the best start we've seen from a pole sitter on the outside of row 1 all weekend.
Then Martinese has got it spot on here, whether there will be a bit of tactics at play, as that was Kelleher down the inside taking 3rd place from Cochet. Luda Flusha's out, and the 278, the victory lane of Vegard Clementson is out.
What that incident is, they're on the inside, and the door just closes, clips that rear wheel. Very lucky not to actually fully flip there.
Meanwhile, back at the front, change for the lead. Martinese has got past Turney.
Oh, and that's off the track. That is Kelleher. He's out of the race. The chances of a treble podium for the Kart Republic factory team is not over, but it's certainly diminished for the time being. There, though, was the lead change, and that was just nicely done. Big check over the shoulder there. And that's Dries van Langendonk. And another one of the Prema cuts is that Alpac Soy in the 249. It is indeed. They are falling like flies, and these are big names falling like flies as well. This is very, very dramatic in this opening stages.
If that level of intrigue continues, that was a nice move down the inside by Dean Pedersen.
Clearly not chatting to each other, and there's more drama. Aston Sharp out of the race, and so is Louis Cochet.
Away from Sala, Francis and Pedersen, and that needed to be done from Luis Francis down the inside, takes 4th place away from Filippo Sala. I'm surprised it didn't happen a bit earlier at the rate at which Ramaekers has disappeared off the front of this group.
There is yellow flags out at turn number 1. There is a driver off the circuit. I think that might be Victor Gustafsson.
With that efficiency he's known for in these finals. Down the inside, Pedersen on Sala. Sala's going to have a go back, but has to think a better part about that one. Through goes Pedersen into 5th place, and now Sala has to deal with his teammate Jensen Burnett.
If Ramaekers can get this move done, he's wasting no time down the inside. That was a very tidy and clean move there from Thibaut Ramaekers.
There's another one of the KRs is out. We'll work out who that is in this. Jacob Micallef in the 251. That's not been a successful restart.
Now, so that is Hugo Marti going into the back of Jacob Micallef. That's a victory. Well done for the Italian as he heads to his home country as a championship leader. Iacopo Martinese dominates in Portugal. The Italian wins in fine fashion from Thibaut Ramaekers and Joe Turney.
First lap I was trying to not do anything special, nothing really wrong. Yeah, Joe was in front of me, and then I decided to go in front and decide the pace. Yeah, then every lap I was trying to do, I was trying to not do as many mistakes as possible. And then when I looked behind at the beginning of the last lap, I saw that there was a gap, and I just had to bring it on.
With the sun setting on the second round of the Champions of the Future in Portimao, it all falls down to what happens in Italy at the Viterbo circuit now, with the Italian Iacopo Martinese leading the standings by only 8 championship points ahead of Joe Turney. But let's see what happens as the field now heads to Italy.